Welcome to Rod's Comics. And on this episode, we're going to find out what the big deal is with the Mark Jewelers insert. Hey guys, welcome to Rod's Comics. On this episode, it's going to be fun. We're going to talk about Mark Jewelers, but also the other printed stuff that you find in comic books that's not really related to the comic story or the art itself. Like this Captain Power ad. I've always wanted one of those. So this is a Daredevil issue, as you can see, browsing through. This is from an old American comics ad. And here we go. This is prizes or cash. I'm sure you're familiar with this, different forms of this. There's also one from Olympic, and this is Sales Leadership Club, which were advertisements from the 80's and 90's. You know, it's an organization that sold products for young people. So basically, you sell certain items like stationaries and other products, and you get like a percentage of that, and you end up, being able to earn points and claim prizes. There's also one from Olympic, and it's pretty much the same. You earn points from selling or like a dollar equivalent, and then you can exchange that for really cool items. And I've always been fascinated by these ads. I think it was a Sales Leadership Club that visited our school back when I was in 7th grade. Made an announcement. They gave out like catalogs that you could show off to your would-be clients, but I never really participated in it. But it was something that really held my interest, and I've been fascinated and always wanted to be able to claim one of those really cool prizes, from bikes to skateboards to radio control cars. Next up, we have undoubtedly one of my favorite ads in comic books, and I was a big prankster back in the day. I was the youngest and only boy, and I had like 2 older sisters, and I've always wanted to pull pranks on them. So I always gravitated towards these ads by the Johnson Smith Company. They would always have these little coupons. It wasn't always the Johnson Smith Company, but the Johnson Smith Company was the one that I favored, and I always ordered via mail. And I would ask my elder sister to secure a money order for me, because you had to be like 18 or something to get a money order, so that I could order these by mail, and then I would wait for the UPS shipping to arrive. Johnson Smith Company, a very old company, specialized in gag gifts like mini cameras, invisible ink, x-ray goggles, whoopee cushions, fake vomit, joy buzzers, fake chewing gum, and the sort. I remember ordering a ventriloquist dummy, and I was thinking, wow, I'm going to have my very own, ventriloquist dummy. And when it arrived, it was just this crappy plastic little clown thing that was totally not what I was expecting. It was tiny, it was cheap plastic, and it barely worked. But, usually when you order stuff from mail back then, the result was always underwhelming. It was actually founded in Chicago, founded in 1914, but sadly they closed 2019. That's more than 100 years of providing the best in gags and joke items for little brothers to pull off pranks on their older sisters. Alright, as for our next comic book segment, as you can see, this is one of the more popular ads, Sea Monkeys. This has been appearing in the old issues of classic comics, and Sea Monkeys are always kind of a letdown, because when you actually receive the Sea Monkeys, it's not a sea monkey. Alright, so next up, Columbia House. This is actually the older version of Columbia House, because this one, it's LPs and tapes. So LPs would be like the vinyl records, but the more recent version of Columbia House membership or CD club were obviously CDs, and that was the one I was more familiar with. But since this is an older comic book, this one featured tapes. So for 99 cents, basically, you could get like a certain number of tapes. The modern version would be CDs. I think you get like a new CD or tape every month for like a course of a year. It's like for only 99 cents, but there's always a catch. So when you enroll to the Columbia House Records or Publishing House, whatever it's called, you obviously end up paying more later, because you'd be obligated to pay full price for the other items. So this obviously featured tapes for Columbia House, because this comic book is from 1973, December 1973. Wow, my birth month and my birth year. Yes, I'm old. And now we have a classic Conan the Barbarian comic book. This one from the 80's. It has that Captain Power ad. Same ads. Another American Comics ad for their mail order comic store. Another prizes and cash from the Sales Leadership Club. So basically, if you had comic books from the same era, it's going to feature the same ads. And finally, we've come to the point where we're hitting the centerfold. This is the Mark Jewelers insert, the super popular Mark Jewelers insert that you find in random comic books that showcase their rings for military personnel. We're looking for, I guess, an engagement ring or a ring for their lady love, maybe for themselves. I'm not sure. It was printed on high quality glossy paper, placed in the centerfold of the comic book, and featured detailed photos of luxury items. Like I said, mostly jewelry, and in this case, rings. And some Mark Jewelers, I think, had more pages, but this one is the standard. So this took up 4 pages, and there's a mail order form as well. These were usually inserted in the comic books that would be made available to military personnel. Yeah, I think Mark Jewelers is still around to this day, and this is from obviously the 80s. For those who are really into hunting down Mark Jewelers issues, is actually a way to check out a comic book without having to open it. If you can look on the top part of the comic book, you can see the centerfold, or obviously the better quality paper that's being used, usually in a bright color like red. And that's the Mark Jewelers. For those who are wondering what the fuss is about, I personally hated it. I took out some, if not most, of the Mark Jeweler inserts on my comic books from the 80s, obviously because I didn't want it there. It just felt so out of place. But now, it's a much coveted feature of a comic book amongst collectors.
Make sure to subscribe to Rod's Comics.